We at, Marvin? We'll count it down for 5. What's going on, everybody? Another episode of the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast, the first recorded episode for the new year, 2025. We have made it out of 2024, hopefully more prosperous than what we started. It's Austin, aka More Than an Agent, here with my Dominicano hermano, John Soto. John does real estate. Welcome to the new year.
Feeling great, feeling better. Hopefully another great year.
Yeah.
We got a great guest today. Can't wait to chat about. Good energy, good information.
The guests have no idea. The viewers, the listeners, y'all have no idea. We started off 2025 on an amazing foot, and we are continuously dedicated to making sure that we bring you value and amazing content to your platform so that way you can still get this gold that these guests and visitors are providing for everyone, even us as hosts. And we pray that you continue to tap in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let's keep this motion. Let's keep sharing the sugar. Today's guest, New Jersey's own. And I actually met him at the developer conference hosted by New Jersey's own Deontay Chantel, who was also a guest on the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast. So be sure to check out that episode. And I remember seeing this individual at his booth, and my man was selling. I mean, like, he was tapped in. He always had a crowd around him. I'll never forget this. He always had a crowd around him, no matter what point of the conference it was. He always had a crowd around him. And you could see the passion amidst the chaos. I'll never forget that part. Okay. Because he was trying to literally serve and answer everybody's questions. And we were all buying his book. And this was the first time that we even saw this book personally. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to the short sale savage, Matt Merenoff. I appreciate you for coming on to the show, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. Listen, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate, John having me on. John and I actually go to the same barber.
Okay.
Yeah, we go to the same barber. Yeah.
Y'all have no idea how fun this episode is going to be. Matt's the ultimate jokester. Matt's the ultimate jokester.
Yeah.
So listen, if you're riding around with the kids, just let them know that mommy and daddy are here to learn, and we're here to put the kids in a valuable position. But we're going to get real. We're going to get raw. Again, appreciate you for having on the show. Matt is as serious and gung-ho for his business and protection of his clients as much as he makes sure that you enjoy the process and have fun with it. I will say it. Let's start it off like this. Introduce yourself. Okay. Give us exactly kind of what you do, what your stilo is.
Yeah, so I've been in real estate for probably close to 24 years now, and I've been running this wild wave working with pre-foreclosed properties. I don't like REO, which is real estate owned properties. I like to try to figure out how to jam a square peg into a round hole with people that before going to the auctions are looking for options. Right. So I tell people all the time, looking for options. But, I found a little niche that I've carved out, and I've been doing this, like I said, I think John and I were talking about it for a show since 2005. So that's a long time.
In prime time.
Yes.
We'll talk about that, actually.
We're about to do a 20-year party for the Short Sale Savage, huh?
Yeah. So 20 years doing that. 2015, I ended up going nationwide with the concept to work into other markets because there were so many people that fall out. They couldn't make the money that they were making before with the short sales because the rules had changed. So a lot of people don't even know. Like, my company name is Real Estate Recovery Group. And Real Estate Recovery Group, I spell real estate one word, not two. And it's RRG. And RRG actually stands for Rules, Regulations, and Guidelines. That's the purpose of the company itself. But we're set up as a loss mitigation company, and I am a foreclosure, pre-foreclosure specialist. I'm helping people avoid foreclosure. Some people have equity in their houses. Right. And some people don't have equity in their houses. But it's really their option to find out what are their options before, they lose the property, lose their asset.
What got you into this business? And for our viewers, what is a short sale?
Well, a short sale is really nothing more than where a lending institution will take less than what's actually owed on the mortgage. So let's round it out. $500,000 is owed on the property, but the property is only worth, let's say, $400,000. So the bank, concedes and has to take less than what's actually owed on that mortgage. Now, there could be some tax, implications along the way, but if you have a good accountant or CPA, hopefully, it shouldn't be an issue. But we're finding people that had little to no equity, literally just sucked all the equity out of the property by not paying their mortgage because they couldn't pay their mortgage, job loss, maybe somebody got sick, maybe they had to move to another area, relocate. So there's a lot of different reasons why people will fall short on the actual mortgage that's owed on the house.
You mentioned something that I didn't think I knew, but understandable. So here we go. Short sale is when you're selling the property or the bank concedes to take less than what the property's worth.
Yep.
Now, there has to be some triggering effect in order to do so. So where I always remember short sales, there had to be some form of hardship, some financial form of hardship. Medical bills are too much, or maybe they lost their job, as you said, maybe a death in the family or death of a spouse that makes things hard. Yeah. I never realized that you could move and just have, is it a better opportunity? Like if somebody has to move, that can also trigger the distress clause that a short sale needs. Mm-hmm. If they move, can it be because they're moving for a better opportunity? Like if somebody was in New Jersey and they moved to Texas for a better opportunity, you can actually cause a short sale by moving to.
So here, I'll give you an example. Let's say you own a house in New Jersey. It doesn't matter what the dollar amount is, but unfortunately, you owe more or close to what's owed on the property. And one of the reasons why properties, obviously become a short sale is because let's say you owe $500,000. Again, $500,000. But then you have your real estate commission.
Correct.
Then you got your
transfer tax, attorney.
Right. So all those things come into play, and it minimizes what's owed on the property. But let's say you have to move. You have a job opportunity. That legitimately is a hardship. So if you can't sell your property right away and you have to move, it's okay to contact your lender and let them know. Here's another thing that most people don't know. Hold on. Here's another thing that most people.
But would that impact? Because I know short sales impact the credit.
100%.
It would,
and it still would.
100%.
Okay, continue.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, but here's one thing that most people don't know: when you do a short sale on a property, people are like, you have to be late to do a short sale. That's not true. You don't have to.
I thought you had to.
No, you do not.
Yeah, I thought you had to be late.
You don't have to be doing. Is that only under the stipulation that? And for everybody that's listening, what Matt's saying is usually with a short sale, in order to even get to the point where you can have a conversation with the bank, you have to be late on the mortgage, which further proves the quote-unquote hardship that you're bringing to the table. Yeah, now we're going into this conversation where now you don't have to prove that. So you can be completely current. Yeah. The mortgage can be even paid early. Yeah. In theory, at least as far as not having to be late, and you can still do the short sale. Is that only when you're moving, like if you're moving to the new state, or you know what I mean, like you got a new job opportunity, that you can be current and still do the short sale? You can do it under no matter what.
Well, here's the thing. So, people are like, I have to move to another state. I already purchased a house, so they already have a house. They may or may not have lied to their lender and said, hey,
you're going to rent this.
We got renters for the house. We're under contract to sell the property. There's all different types of things, and obviously, I don't commend people doing fraud, but if you have to move on to the next phase of your life and unfortunately, fortunately, you have good credit, but you're in a bad situation. If you have to go buy another property before bad things happen to that property, it is what it is. Do I advise having a conversation with your lender and letting them know, hey, look, I'm planning on selling my house. I've already purchased another property. I've already moved. We've actually gotten letters from employment basically saying, this homeowner has accepted an offer out of state to use as clarification for hardship. So there's a lot of things that are behind the scenes that nobody knows. Nobody wants to talk about it. And, John and I were talking about before, you were on the phone, I think, with your bookie. And
listen, I've been placing a lot of Knicks bets. I for some reason, I'm still losing.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It doesn't make any sense. The odds are against us.
But I guess at the end of the day, like, people need to understand what their options are. Right. And people are like, there's so many people out there that are validated to give the information that they're giving, and it's incorrect information. And then you're putting somebody in a bad situation. I'll give you an example. We've had so many homeowners come to us and say, wow, I was working with this real estate agent, and there was an investor who wanted to buy my house, and the investor said, well, he can't buy my property until I go late on my mortgage, because I don't have any real equity in my house. So it's like, but how do you legally tell somebody to go late on your mortgage? You can't do that. Like, how is that not against the law for saying that or giving that type of advice? So I'm very careful in the information that I provide to people to let them know. And then what happens if their credit starts to drop and now they can't rent because their credit
plummet
because of the late mortgage payment?
Because of the late mortgage, correct. I mean, all the way that to people filing bankruptcies, not ready to move, sale dates coming up, having opportunities with these lenders and blowing these opportunities because they feel that they're entitled to money. But like, we're doing a deal. There's an association that hasn't been paid in 10 years.
Eesh.
Right?
Jeez.
And you ask the homeowner, why didn't you pay? Well, I didn't know there was an association on the house. How do you not know when you're buying a property that there's not an association or something attached to that property?
They definitely got stuff in the mail.
Right. I mean, ignorance is bliss to a certain point. And then, you got a son of a bitch attorney for the association that wants every nickel, and the house just isn't worth it. And I'm going to take it one step further. Yeah. What happens if the association triggers the foreclosure over the bank? Because people are like, well, the bank won't let that happen. How do you know? Yeah. You don't think they're going to want to be held first? Title's not going to be clear. But think about it. They have every right to foreclose, get paid their money, and then have to distribute whatever's left to the lending institution. Unless they're smart enough to know that there's pending litigation. But people don't want to understand my side of the world. That's why I was telling John, I'm offering free classes to people to understand the fundamentals on how these things work. And people are like, nah. Why the hell would you not want? Why would you not want to know? What am I missing out there?
Right.
And let's face it, there's a lot of people that hold real estate licenses, and they really shouldn't be. They should be asking if you want paper or plastic.
Well, a lot of them left the business over the past 2 years.
But there's new ones added, though.
Yeah, but
now there's new ones added. Now they're just like servers. But let me
ask you this question. Why would somebody who has a license drop their license? Put it in a referral. Why would you just give your license up? It's hard enough for some people to get their licenses. Put it into referral status. Maybe, look, if you've been in the industry for 10, 15 years, and now this nonsense with the NAR lawsuit stuff going on, and some people are like, oh, it's not nonsense. But it is nonsense. Because there's a lot of common sense.
Nonsense.
Right. There's a lot of nonsense.
Nonsense.
It's business as usual, and people don't know how to adapt to it. And I believe it's the leadership. It's the brokers. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm with EXP. Come with me. Or, I'm with all these different, the cloud franchise and stuff like that. Look, you could say good or bad about all these different franchises. I know people that are in EXP, they're making a lot of money. I know people in EXP that are not making any money. I know people at EXP, and I'm just saying it. I mean, this is common knowledge.
Shout out to EXP.
Yeah,
that's my particular brokerage. Shout out to EXP.
Yeah, no doubt.
We got to do something with the stocks, but that's okay.
Yeah, right. So, they have training. They don't have training. I blame a lot of the laziness from the people that, brought them in trying to build out a pipeline. Yeah. If the people don't understand what they're trying to do, but yet they want 100% commission, but yet they want you to teach them what to do for free, who the hell works for free? Free ain't for me. You got to understand what you're trying to do. Why do I offer the classes that I offer?
How often do you offer?
Well, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do in 2025 because I had such a horrible return on offering those types of classes where people ask more questions of why I'm offering it for free
than the actual preventing the
than actually getting the information. So now I'm like, should I just pre-record the shit out of it?
Probably.
And then just put it out there and go, here's your free class. I want people to understand, like, you're going to work with somebody who's in distress with their property and you don't know what you're doing. And I've had a lot of real estate agents over the years say to me, well, I didn't put them in that situation. I didn't tell them not to pay their mortgage. I didn't tell them to get sick. I'm like, come on. I mean,
got sick.
Yeah, exactly. Or I didn't tell them to lose their job. They should have gone out and got a job with Amazon or whatever it is.
It doesn't matter. They're entrusting you with the next decision going forward.
Where agents would have this like sense of entitlement. I have a listing, and if it doesn't work out, oh well, who gives a shit?
It's the numbers for them.
It's a numbers game, no skin off my nose. And if it goes to foreclosure, it doesn't work out, next. Right. I mean, that's the competition that's out there for people that are true professionals. So I say, if you're new in the industry and you can learn the right way to do real estate, and really, I mean, lawsuit or not, there's a way, a code of ethics to do real estate that people aren't and weren't doing it. And the only ones that really, really, truly profited were the attorneys, not the people in the class action lawsuit. They got nothing. It was like you could buy a roll of toilet paper.
How much the attorneys got?
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
And if people in the class action lawsuit were getting like $1,200, $800.
And the fact that it just like, if you're getting mailing, like for any class action lawsuit, on a quick tangent, if you're getting mailings for a class action lawsuit, it's the same way that people are sending mailers, that real estate agents send mailers like, yo, we just sold this house around the corner. Come list your house with us. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's the same thing that when you get a speeding ticket, they're going to send you mail and like send you mail.
Correct.
Hey, listen, we want to represent you. They're a court like that. Another story.
Wait, so the
class action lawsuits. When you ever realize like where you get most of your mailings for class action lawsuits, it's been in mail where I've gotten it from like I think at one point LinkedIn was going through some type of lawsuit, and they were like, yeah, if you've ever so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Right? But like, who's making the money out of this? To Matt's point, like, who's making the money out of this? The attorneys. It's of course. Like, we're not making the money, and we're the actual victims. Apparently, I didn't know I was a victim until you mailed me about it. Right. But now that I'm a victim, now I only get 12 cents. You pointed out that I'm a victim, and you get more money. Right. But that's an answer, right? So, whatever. Quick tangent. Lord, I want to go back to the. Yes. So. I wanted to also piggyback over Matt because I can't call it nonchalant. I don't want to call it nonchalant. But in the same way that Matt just mentioned that, he's thinking about like, do I just pre-record this and just send this out because clearly like nobody wants like the actual help. I had a client. Matt joined on the call. I was like, Matt, I got this deal. I don't know how it's gonna go, but like, hey, listen. So I have like firsthand experience with it. Matt's literally only job. It's weird. It's weird. And it makes you realize that people just really don't want that much help. But they want to save themselves, but they don't want help. It's weird. It's very, very weird. And I remember in the entire conversation, Matt, from the start of when we got on the call, every statement was a solution to the actual problem at hand. Right. And which every solution, there was some form of rebuttal or some form of, no, we don't want to do. Now, granted, That particular deal, they were in a position where they weren't going up against foreclosure or anything like that per se, but it just did give a testament on how standoffish people are normally.
Yeah.
The same way that when we're going through the mall and somebody's like, hey, listen, do you need help with anything? And you're like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm just looking. And then what happens? 240 seconds later, you're like, hey, listen, do you have... In real estate...
People were conditioned.
It's too late. And you lost a lot in those 240 seconds. Whereas if I'm in the Gap or if I'm in Zara, it's just like, okay, I just lost on the time that I wanted to find this particular pair of pants or a shirt or a coat or whatever the case. But in real estate, at that point, it's too late. You've lost so much. Yeah. So I want to definitely put a testament on that. One thing I do want to talk about, you mentioned that you guys started back in 2005. Yeah. Which for us as real estate professionals, we've all been in the game. You've been in it the longest. But clearly over the past 10, I've been in business a decade now, 10 years.
Good for you, man.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you got full head of hair.
And I don't have, I have all my hair still. I have like 3 strands of gray hair.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I'm doing well on that particular case.
You use Dark and Lovely?
What's the other one? Just for Men.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for Men, so it's for the ladies. Ironically, it's perfect. It's perfect marketing.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, so I'll take it. It's working, and I've only like threatened to blow my brains out 3 times
in 10 years.
10.
That's not bad, bro.
It's not. I at one point I was like, at least I should threaten it once a quarter.
I had a conversation the other day with a lender, and I don't know if we can dub it into this or not, and actually split in the video, whatever. But there's actually I'm having a conversation with the homeowner. He lived in Tennessee. He now lives in the Philippines. So I have him on the phone, and I have the lender on the phone, and we're talking about having questions, and I need to get written consent to speak on his behalf. Some lenders will give you 24 hours, 7 days, whatever. It was a 1 phone call. That was it. So we're having a conversation, and the lender says, okay, but I just need the homeowner to verify, that he's talking to so-and-so. So the lender didn't know my full name. The homeowner sounded like he was high as fuck. And the lender goes, okay, but I need you to address his name. Like he goes, I give blank blank authorization to speak on my account. So he goes, okay. So this is Matt, permission. He goes, no, I need you to say it the way he said it. He goes, okay. So the homeowner goes, I give blank blank permission to speak on my account. You literally hear the guy from the other side from Loss Mitigation Company just burst out laughing. So I sent it out to a couple of my friends. I'm like, blank blank. So I guess my name is blank blank now. I don't know. Now I'm blank blank.
Blank blank.
Blank blank. But that just gives you an understanding of the homeowners. They're lost. They're like lost sheep. They're a cow in the middle of nowhere in the field. They're looking for help. They're looking for advice.
Right.
Can I help the guy? 100%. Right. Down on his luck, had a stroke, needed better health care. Unfortunately, United States apparently it's not that great. So his wife has dual citizenship. They went to the Philippines. He's getting the health care that he needs there. He's waiting for his Social Security disability to kick in, and he's going to be okay. But he's got a house. Guess what, fellas? He bought the house 2 years ago. Guess what? Not really any equity in the house because he purchased the property in the height of the market. Yep. So now, what does he do? He's got to short sell his house.
Now short sale is one of those terms where we don't hear it as much as, and this was because I know John has one. Several obviously, but 2005, right? So we're talking. This was the last run right before obviously everything the shit hit the fan. Short sales at that particular time, are they any different than now?
Yeah, there are a difference.
Okay, and obviously at that point,
easier? Sorry.
That's actually a good question. That's actually a very good question.
Short sales easier now than they were back then.
Easier now than it was back then.
Are they easier than? It's like who's on first base,
right?
Are they easier now? That's a good question. If you're seasoned and you know what they're doing, then you should be able to guide through it because you have a process. I have a process.
Okay.
So yeah, they're easier for my team because the members on my team, everybody's well trained. So everybody understands the process that has to be followed. But if you don't follow that process correctly, if you go A, B, C, skip D, go to E, whatever it is, but you miss that one step, you probably have to start the whole file all over again. So there's a process you have to follow. So it's a yes and no answer. It really depends on who's working on a transaction. And quite honestly, I don't know why real estate agents would want to do short sales. I don't know why anybody would want to do a short sale.
Unless you want to specialize in it. I did my first one that I did took a year, but that's because partially it was my fault, but that's because you're not as like. You're not as savvy. You're talking to the asset manager through the computer via email. You can't get them on the phone. I'm so used to talking and handling stuff on the phone.
Right.
You can't, and they don't know you. They don't you're just text coming through the screen.
It depends on the platform that you're operating off of, or it depends if you're talking about Equator. I know what you're talking about.
Oh my God!
It's still around, dude. It's still around.
What's the name of it?
Equator.
Oh, is it the name of the asset manager?
Yeah, no, it's one of the platforms.
The fact that he knows, yes.
Yeah, I knew it because agents all the time.
Okay,
all the time
Never
agents
mind.
complain
Continue.
about it. No, it's
of
okay.
course, we're interviewing you. Who am I?
No, it's okay. But it's funny though because it's the same thing over and over again. And, we just took over a file. Actually, it's a funny story. I'm not gonna say any names. I'm not gonna say any addresses, so nobody flip out. I don't ever call anybody out, but I do. I talk about scenarios.
Call him out. He does on social media.
So we have exactly
call him out.
Yeah. I call him out, but I don't call him out.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah.
You call him out. You don't call his name out.
So we have 4 files. We have 3, and the investor. I think there's the same investor who's buying all 3 of these properties, which is totally legal. Doesn't like the fact that we charge for our services. They have a short sale they're working on, totally going to shit. So I guess it's, hey, call Matt and his team and see if they want to work the short sale. And it's the same thing. It's the process. What are you doing? What are you not doing? Give me all the information. Let me look at the documentation. Let me see who you spoke with. We have a platform that we work off of, and it has everything. And most people write it on a fucking piece of paper. You're going to send me screenshots of paper? No. Take your time, write it in, Google Docs, email it to me, whatever it is. Long story short, a deal that was going to die, we got it not only back on track, but we got the approval letter.
Boom.
And it all comes down to understanding the process. And nobody wants to take the time to understand the process. They're literally taking shit, throwing it up against the wall and hope it works.
It sticks.
So I tell people all the time, you're a mortgage guy, stay in your lane, do the mortgages. You're a real estate guy, stay in your lane, do the real estate guy. You're an investor, stay in your lane, whatever. You're an attorney. I have attorneys that hated me, that love me now, because we've proven ourselves. Right. So when I get phone calls from people like, hey, this time, whatever, just hook it up and then I'll get you in the next one. Go fuck yourself. No, absolutely not. I don't need you. You need me. You need the services that we provide. We understand the deed restrictions. Right, we understand the time frames. There's a girl who just got her ass nailed to the wall right now, and I'm not going to say her name, but anybody that's...
And this is an agent?
No, this is an agent.
This is an agent, okay.
This is an agent. I mean, when you want to talk about fraud, this agent committed beyond fraud.
Go ahead.
Authorization, approval letters.
It was more.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Don't
I'm not saying it.
Don't say it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we're not saying any names.
On the next episode of the Real Estate Bulletin. No,
yeah. But you know what? It's like proof of funds were altered.
I was about to say, we heard about that.
Contracts.
Yes.
Forged names on contracts. And then when it all came out, it was funny because people are, who ratted that person out, whatever it was. The person who ratted that person out was a homeowner. They got fucked over. Mm-hmm. That was like, that's not my signature. I didn't sign that. I didn't give okay to that. So then they just dug and dug and dug and dug, and they just ripped into it. That person opened up a massive can of worms.
I think that was the one that Erica was talking about.
Yeah, massive can of worms. Yeah. So it's funny. So people are like, hey, do you know this person? Yeah, I know the person. I mean, if you know,
That was the one that.
if you're in this industry,
You know.
someone like that. Yeah, I know someone like that. But I never got involved in any of those transactions. Nor did I ever want to process any of those transactions. I even made a post on my Facebook account, which you saw, and it stated, if you have any so-and-so's files that are actively in review right now, I want nothing to do with them. But if you have a file that's not and didn't go into review and wasn't already listed, happy to help.
Right.
Contact an attorney immediately.
How long?
And just so you know, those files, there was, I think, a total of 51 active listings that agent had, and they essentially got stopped, screeching halt, and the foreclosures got stopped. Like, it was a whole big thing.
Is that person in jail now?
Oh, 100%.
They're in jail already.
Yeah, they're in jail.
Already.
Yeah, right. 51?
I just thought, I mean, you get handcuffed, indicted, and it's on trial. You'll end up in jail, but I'm surprised they are there already.
It's probably an ongoing.
Well, so we're now in 2025. The last I heard, they went back to 2017. So I don't know how further back they're going to go. But I mean, there's a way of doing this business and working this industry and not committing fraud. There was actually a person who posted saying that was, I believe, on the internet. It was his proof of funds that was altered. And in one of the indictments, it actually shows a proof of funds, and then it shows the altered proof of funds. It looks exactly crazy. It's crazy.
How long should a short sale actually take if you do it the Matt's way?
Let's not even call it the right. I would just say it's the right way. I appreciate the props, but let's just say,
let's do both then. The right way and Matt's way.
I can get it done in probably 15, 20 days. No, I'm kidding around.
Oh, man, listen. I waited a year.
You could probably, no, honestly.
With Equator, at least. Jesus, Lord have mercy.
Well, and people don't even know, for Equator, you could call, there's an actual phone number you could call for Equator. It's okay. Most people don't know.
I tried the asset manager. It's just here's my phone number. Okay, right. I call this phone number. They don't think, whatever.
Right.
Okay.
It's okay. But you have to raise enough awareness to what's going on with the file.
Right.
Short sales typically really shouldn't take more than 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Typically.
Understood.
I would say on an average, we're probably about 3 months getting short sales from beginning to end. Now, here's what's funny.
My quickest one was 2.5 months.
Hold on a second. So I love when people are like, yo, I got a short sale approval letter, got it done 14 days. Yeah, I'm amazing. Call me if you want me. Now, let me ask you. If you look back at that and say you might have got it approved in 14 days, who fucked up before you? You took that file on, then you got that file back on track. If that's the case, fuck. I've gotten files approved for a short sale in 48 hours. See what I'm saying?
And
so you could say, yeah, how long does a short sale take? But you're not talking about the backstory. Maybe the thing's been worked for a year, 6 months, whatever it is. Somebody messes up. Somebody else, grabs the ball, runs with it, and says, I got this done in a certain amount of time. Yeah, we picked up the ball and gotten things, basically back on track in 48 hours. But you don't see me talking about that on social media. Why? Because I call Facebook fake book. It's fake as fuck. You could be anything you want on social media, right? So think about that the next time somebody posts somebody or something on social media and says they've done whatever. I love these guys I made $86,000 on a transaction. Well, was any of that $86,000 your earnest money that you got back that you're not showing them the corrected HUD? There's so many different ways that people bullshit people that on social media, I'm just done with it. I'm tired with it. And I'm changing things up in 2025 and I'm going in, like a wrecking ball.
Guns blazing.
Yeah.
What, it just 90 seconds because we're doing great on time, but just the fact that it's always a ball to have you, and I'm looking at my list right now and I got tons of more questions. 90 seconds for real estate professionals, as well as anybody that might be going through a financial hardship where they might have to consider a short sale. Just give us the step-by-step process from start to finish, synopsis-wise.
As far as what? Putting a short sale in place?
Correct. Meaning...
just call Matt. That's it. The end.
And that's it.
No. Yeah. I mean, yeah, mostly. Matt.
All right. Actually, next question.
Hold on a second. No, hold on. I redid my website. I redid my website, and on there you could actually either buy my book or it could says get started now on my website, and it says
website name.
It's actually my name. It's MatthewMerenoff.com.
Beautiful, easy.
All right, that's actually my digital card. Shout out to Cardfly. That's my digital card. But the actual website name itself is Real Estate Recovery Group.
Yes.
RealEstateRecoveryGroup.com. Or you go to, which people laugh when I say it, shortsaledaddy.com. Shortsaledaddy.
That's
.com.
I
bet you I won't remember it.
Yeah, it gets redirected.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have all these like different redirecteds, whatever it is. You know, like OneTrickPony.com. No, I'm kidding. So, but if you go, but it's so easy to navigate the Get Help Now form, and basically just lays everything out. It's the name, right? It's your address. You have any liens on your property? You know, like these are questions you better know in the back of your head when you're calling into a lender. Because the lender's going to ask you questions. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they might ask you, hey, can we do a hardship interview right here on the line? So what if you're full of shit? What if you really don't have a hardship, right? So it's better to go to a professional, me or whoever, and say, I think I have a hardship. I don't know if it's legitimately a hardship or not. Or I just don't want to pay my mortgage anymore because I don't like my house. You know, and I can't sell it for what's owed on it, so it's going to be a short sale. Or my lender says I don't qualify. I get this all the time. My lender says I don't qualify for a short sale. Well, why is it that you don't qualify for a short sale? I don't know. Did you get a letter in the mail? No. Well, I mean, they have to mail you something saying why you didn't qualify. Do you want to do a one-time phone call to the bank? Oh, I have an attorney working with me. That's my favorite. I know we're going off on a tangent, but focus on this one. I love when homeowners say I have an attorney working on my file. Okay. We could try to call the bank. If they'll speak with you, chances are you don't have an attorney. Okay, calling the bank. Now, mind you, some of these people, I haven't heard from my attorney in 3 to 6 months. But you have an attorney? Yeah. We call in right away. We get somebody on the phone from the collections department. Bypass that. We go to loss mitigation department. Can you tell me who called in the last 3 to 6 months? Who has authorization on the file? I tell homeowners all the time, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me when I find out the shit that you don't want to hear. And then we hang up. And sometimes they'll laugh or they'll get really mad. I'm like, I told you don't get mad at me. It's not my fault. You have an attorney that hasn't picked up the telephone. You gave them authorization 3 months ago and they haven't even called in, but I bet you to cash your fucking check.
And they're billing you.
You know, so there's a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't understand. So then you call into a lender and you go through the process. And, you know, sometimes they don't need everything that most lenders need. 30 days bank statements. 30 days pay stubs. 30 days bank statements. You know, do you have your W-2s? Oh, you don't have your W-2s? Okay, do you have a letter from an accountant? Or your 1099? You know, do you have your breakdown, your profit and loss statement? No, I don't have it. You know, then the homeowner's like, oh, my agent said they'll help me with it. Oh, the attorney's working on it, you know? And then I'm like, okay, well, call your attorney, call your agent, call whatever. And they're like, they said I have to do it myself. I'm like, okay, well, do you want my company to get involved? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, how much does it cost? I don't have any money and I owe more in my house. And I'm like, okay, well, no problem. The buyer's going to pay me. The buyer's going to pay you? Yeah, okay, cool. Well, why didn't my agent talk to me about this? Right. Why didn't my agent let me know about a service or a company that's out there like you? One, maybe they don't know about me, which is totally fine. That's my fault. Doing a shit job on social media.
Amazing job.
Or shit job or whatever. Or maybe they just feel like they can get it done themselves. And I feel really bad because, like I said, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, If the person who's listing your property or the attorney or whoever who's involved in it, they walk away to go to the next transaction. We treat every fucking client like family. Now, some of the family that we come on as a client, I want to fucking murder them, but I treat them like family.
But that is family.
And I tell people all the time, I will tell you what you don't want to hear. Yeah. That's it.
Yep. I'm a big proponent for that because you just heard me on the conversation before the recording, and I was like, I want to make sure that you know everything because I don't want you to be at the family barbecue or whatever the case 3 months later talking about the deal, and then some family members like, well, why didn't you just da-da-da-da? And they're like, my agent never gave me that option, and then now like I'm looked at like don't even feel like it at that point. Okay, just did you have one?
No, go ahead.
I want to switch it over to our for our investors.
I don't even know if I answered that last question, but who gives a shit? What's the question?
Well, actually, yes, please. Actually, 90 seconds, start to finish. If somebody came to you today, and was like, "Hey, listen, I think I have a financial hardship, and if somebody got sick, I can no longer afford the mortgage." And what does that look like?
So, I mean, one of the things I ask is, are you late on your mortgage?
Yes, I am.
You are. Okay, so
I'm late by. It's the first month that it happened. I'm late a month.
Okay, no worries. So first month, I'm not really too worried. Once it gets to like 3 months, then I start to worry because at that point, then you're getting a letter of notice from your lender, and they're going to say to you at that point, you're going into foreclosure.
Right.
Like we got to wrap things up here. You're either going to make it whole, or you're going to make it so it's underneath those 3 months. Okay, so we've established that. Then, do you have a means of paying your mortgage going forward, Mr. Homeowner?
Nope, I do not, only because my significant other has passed away, and now it's just my income, and I don't have enough.
Okay, cool. Well, who was on title? Were you on title? Were they on title?
We both were on title.
Okay, were you both on the mortgage?
Both on the mortgage.
Okay, cool. Then we shouldn't have any issues with that. Was there a will? Or is there a will?
They did intestate, so there was not a will. I've been trying to get them to establish a will for the longest, and they did not.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously that's something we have to take care of. That's going to have to be resolved before the property gets sold, but you're both on the mortgage, so luckily we'll be able to talk to the lender, try to figure out what options are available other than foreclosure. You're saying you're not working right now, but they're going to ask for specific documents. Now, because of the fact that it's a servicing company that's servicing your property, but now it looks like you might be going to service transfer. So now we have to figure out, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, going from one stage to another. We're working on a transaction right now. That's why I'm saying this. From one servicer to another servicer and flipped it to another servicer. So it's like 3 servicers in a row. It's a pain in the ass because not every servicer has the correct document packet, but they do have an RMA packet, which is a 710 form. And basically, it's the information in it, talks about your financial situation, and you basically fill out the form and ask for your hardship. So, but some lenders, some servicing companies might not ask for bank statements. They might not ask for pay stubs. So there's different variations of it. You might have a first and a second with the same lender or servicer, but the second's going to ask, but the first isn't, vice versa. So there's a lot of different variables that are in place. So what I would say is, depending on your comfort level, Mr. Homeowner, let's do a one-time phone call in with your lender, and let's ask some serious questions for you to find out, do you qualify for a loan modification? Do you qualify for a short sale? Some of the things that we're doing now for people that want to keep their properties, we're looking at state programs, state funding, to help them pay with the back payments of their mortgage that they missed. So there's a lot of different variations of that conversation. So that 90-second, whatever, it's out the window.
Oh, okay. All right. So, all right. After the 90 seconds, you find out, or after that initial conversation, let's say we jump on the phone, you find out that at the end of the day, I'm behind on the mortgage. I can't pay it, and I'm done with this house. I don't want to pay it. I'm completely done with the process of owning this particular home. I don't care anymore. I want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
What are my options? How long is it going to take? I want to sell it. I want to be completely away from it.
So I have agents obviously that are on standby that have already trained with me. That I love the opportunity to give those people listings. I have homeowners like, well, I have a friend of mine who's an agent that he's laughing that wants
It's always like that.
That wants to list my house. That's great, but do they understand your scenario?
Right.
No, they don't. They just know that I need to sell my house. So you don't know if they know anything about short sales or distressed real estate. Well, I didn't tell them that. I'm like, so your friend who's listing their house has no idea that you're in distress of your property? No, I don't want them to know that. I'm like, well, you know what? They're going to know it. So either come clean now and find out whether or not they can actually work with it and do the listing of the property, or work with somebody that I know who's actually trained and capable enough to take the listing. And then, you always get that nasty phone call. What are you trying to do? Blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, well, do you know how a short sale works? No. Do you understand that your friends that are behind in the mortgage? No. Well, they didn't tell you they were behind in the mortgage? No. Well, they told me they were going to tell you, and I'm like, I'm not saying anything that I shouldn't be saying because this is a conversation they told me that they had with you. So there's so many different variations of why.
Yeah.
So I say the best thing to do is, if you want to know what your options are, you could call. I mean, I have a toll-free number. People could call 24 hours a day if they don't want to reach me personally, and they can answer the questions that the live operator is there to ask those questions, and then we can determine yay or nay. Is that something that we really want to get involved in or not? I just don't like people that are full of shit.
Yeah, so once a mortgage changes servicing companies, do you have to start your process all over again?
That's a great question, John. This fucking guy, man, he's good, man.
That's why I brought him on as the go.
So if I'm working on a short sale and we're at the cusp as an approval, then it's called like an in-flight approval. And at that point, we switch over to the new servicer and we say, hey, look, this is where we're at. This is where we left off. Gotcha. I was told that, we were going to be able to get the approval letter issued, blah, 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 whatever. Does that always work? No. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass, and it could take an extra, 30 to 60 days to get to where we need to be. But primarily, if we're getting it on a recorded line, I'm huge with the recorded lines with the banks. Because they're always like, calls being recorded for training purposes and quality control. So when I'm about to hear some bullshit from somebody at the bank, I'm like, well, the call's being recorded, right? And like, yeah, but your name is blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and your ID number is blah, 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 right? And the time is blah, 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 right?
Blank,
and
blank, blank.
Blank, blank, blank. And they're kind of like, oh, fuck. Because at that point, they already know I'm going to hit them with the, okay, well, look, I was told by the other representative this is going to be in-flight approval, correct? That's right. All right, cool. And then I hit them with whatever I got to hit them with. And then I know that on that date, at that time, I spoke with so-and-so. So when the file gets switched over, I can go right up to the president's office at that bank, which there is such a thing, and say, look, this is supposed to be an in-flight approval. This is the person I spoke with. This is their ID. Go back and ask that servicer for a copy of the tape. I don't like being a dick like that, but after doing this for so long, I can only take so much what someone says as a grain of salt. Very little. Very little. You got to protect yourself. And I got to protect the homeowners. I don't want them to go to foreclosure.
That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Especially in this market.
And real estate agents. I love when real estate agents take listings and they're like, oh, it's a regular listing. And they took the listing at, let's say, 4%. And then they're like, I'm like, oh, it's going to end up being a short sale. They're like, nah, I'll leave it at 4%. Why? They're like, oh, I don't want the homeowner to have to worry about paying the commission. I'm like, but the homeowner's not paying it. It's the bank. It's the bank paying it. I don't understand. I don't follow. Okay. And then I explain it to them. They're like, nah, I'll leave it at 4%. I'm like, you're going to give away 2% on an $800,000 house? That makes no sense. Why would you do that? The max they want to see is 6%. They want you to put 6%.
They're accustomed to 6%.
They're accustomed to it. They're right. They want you to see it. Now, if there's a second place, they might knock it down and say, no, you're not going to get 6%. Mm-hmm. We're taking a hit. Everybody's taking a hit. It's 5%. You know what I mean?
And they took 1% off.
So start at 6% and see where it goes. And then I have agents that are like, wait a second, so it's 6% now? Yeah, but is the homeowner going to sign off on it? Get the homeowner on the phone. I'll explain everything. I've taken really bad situations and turned them around in under 30 minutes where the agent was like, what the fuck just happened? I'm like, just we're good. Let's just keep moving forward. Or I'll talk to a homeowner on the phone, and they're like, well, where can I meet you? And I'm like, I really don't meet people. Everything I do is is what's the word I'm looking for?
Virtual.
Like virtual.
Virtual. Damn. Virtual. I'm in Texas. I'm in New Jersey. But you have your agent there, right? You've met with your agent. It's not a big deal. We can Skype. We could do Facebook.
I'm right here.
Messenger, whatever the hell you want to do. I got you. And then the homeowners like the fact that I'm raw. I'm real. I mean, if you're a churchgoer, obviously I'm not going to drop the F-bomb. But the majority of people, I think they respect the fact that I don't bullshit them.
Right.
I'm telling them what they don't want to hear. And I'm like, don't get mad at me if I tell you something you don't want to hear. And I think that builds a lot of trust, respect. And I've been on phone, like, conversations with people on, like, Google Meet or Zoom, and they start the conversation and their hands are folded. And, like, after, like, 5-10 minutes, they're, like, just chilling and relaxing because they see that I'm telling them what no one else is telling them. And then, like, you'll hear the agent, like, I didn't know that. Or the attorney's like, oh, I wasn't aware of that. So it's fun to be in an environment like that and give the education and get everybody on the same page. There's no ego. Right. There's no egos at all. There's just about doing the right thing and making sure everybody's on the same page and having the homeowner feel comfortable. Having them, agents saying, okay, what do I do now? We'll just go there with the listing paper and list the property. Oh, well, my broker said I have to go there and do a presentation. Your broker doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And that's okay. And that's
why you're the worker. No,
right, and that's okay. And again, and that's okay. They just don't understand. Sometimes you can bypass certain presentations and just cut right through it. And if there's a sale date on the property, we got to get right to work. I don't know if we could file an urgent motion. So there's a lot of things that are in place. People that have already used their adjournments. I mean, the stories could go on and on, so I'm not going to talk about that. Next question.
Talk to us about the worst scenario you had that you fixed.
Short sale horror story.
Short sale horror story.
There's one that always pops up.
Right there. Talk about that one.
We got about 3 minutes left. This is perfect, though, because this is we're going to rapid fire this one. Go.
And then give us your toll-free number.
So basically, we were in Tampa, Florida. We were doing an event down there, and I see my lead negotiator in the back of the room, and she's flipping out. She walks out. Whatever. We go to break. I walk outside. I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's like, this is like fucking bananas. Like, we are in the midst of doing this fucking short sale, and the home preservation company went in the house. I mean, when I say they stole everything, they stole.
The home preservation company did.
They stole.
What is that?
Basically, when like it's an REO and like they're the ones that like are cutting the grass, keep it like very.
Or if they deem the property is not habitable. So she's telling the story, and basically, and like she's flipping out. They took everything down to the lady's fucking toothbrush. They took her fucking parakeet. They took her parakeet.
They took the bird.
They took her husband's ashes off the fucking mantle in the house. Now, you guys could say whatever you want, but here's the fucked up part and all that. We had it on video. That she actually had it on video. Dude, this was so fucked up. This transaction, John, pick your mouth up off the floor. This transaction was so fucked up. That was the most fucked up transaction we were ever in. We were able to get the short sale done, and we actually we got her. Well, we didn't. But they knew what they fucked up. Right. I mean, there was punitive damages against the preservation company for what they did. She never got her parakeet back. She never got the ashes back. She never got her toothbrush back. Like, it was crazy. And imagine going away and coming home and trying to open the door and the fucking key doesn't work. And you're looking in the window and you're like, what the fuck? And your shit's like basically... It's all gone.
Everything.
And you're looking for your bird. Your bird's gone. You're looking. I mean, her first reaction, she looked in the window. She was like, "Where's my bird? And where are my husband's ashes?"
I don't blame him. That's probably the most sentimental stuff that you had. That was the most
fucked up scenario. Yeah.
Did it close though?
Yeah, you're fucked up. Yeah, the short sale closed. Short sale closed. But she didn't get any of her. She ain't getting her shit back.
I'm sorry, we're real estate professionals.
Yeah,
It's one of those things where
crazy. No, I mean, you got to ask that question.
no, it's a real thing because at the end of the day, respectfully, if anyone listens, you might not agree with that one, but all the real estate professionals do understand that at the end of the day, we're not the ones that are obviously we're not the preservation company, and at the end of the day, we were hired to provide a service and get paid for such service, and it's just one of those things where. I didn't do it.
Well, I got to
did the company pay the lady for damages?
Yeah, they had
I was about to say they paid very nicely.
Yeah, she was happy at the end.
She doesn't need a bird anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's the ashes part though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what do you do at that point? But one more
She
story.
can buy the Amazon rainforest at this point if she wanted to.
I don't know about that, but she did all right. Another funny story. I get a phone call, and the person goes, "I need you to help me with a short sale. But I need you to meet me at the address so I can explain it to you." I said, all right, cool. So I go to the address and I drive by and there's houses, but there's an empty lot. So I drive past, I drive up and I go, "Hey, are you so-and-so?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, why are we staying here?" She's like, "Well, the house is gone." I'm like, "Yeah, I can see the house is gone." I'm like, "How the hell am I going to short sell a house?" They're like, the town deemed the property inhabitable and condemned it, and they fucking knocked the house down. So how do you short sell a house that's not there? Like, it was crazy. Like, to short sell a house that wasn't there. It was one of the wildest things that I ever came across. I couldn't short sell it.
Yeah, what does he do? He just get it foreclosed?
Well, what do you foreclose on? Piece of land.
And how does this was good because we do have to wrap up. But how do you? While the city does have the legal power in order to do that,
but knock it down.
Knock it down as well, if I'm not mistaken. Legally wise, I think they have the ability to.
I don't know exactly what happened, but it had something to do with the homeowner was pissed at the bank, and because the house was inhabitable, and because all the shit that was going on with it, he thought, "Fuck it, I ain't giving this house back to the bank." So I guess he called the fire department and said, "Hey, if you guys want, you could use my house as demo, whatever." I mean, hey, it's his house.
At this point, you can do it. You can
do
whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you piss your bank, if your bank pisses you off,
as long as you pay the mortgage, technically you can do whatever
you want. Even if you're not paying the mortgage, the house is still in your name. I just thought it was kind of that's pretty ballsy to actually tell the town that they could go out and basically, use it as practice for the fire department. And then because of all the holes in the roof or whatever, like they had to knock it down. They didn't give a fuck because they weren't in the house at that point.
I would love to see how you actually handle that from a what's it called?
I didn't get involved in it for a couple different reasons, but the fact
there was
that
no house, that would have been the main reason.
But it was premeditated. Like he literally got his fucking house knocked down because he didn't want the bank to have it.
That might be better than arson.
I mean, you would think. That's pretty fucked up. Oh, you're gonna fuck with me? All right, cool. I'm gonna call up the fire department and say, "Hey, you guys can use my house as a training facility," and they did.
Last question: for short sales, only residential?
No, we do residential. We do commercial.
Okay.
Short sales too.
Give us the toll. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Give us your toll free number.
866-739-3960. 866-739-3960. Live operators 24 hours a day.
I shout out for everyone that's listening. We want to give a major shout out to our producer Marvin and his entire team here who has been holding us down on the audio and visual. We gotta get Marvin back up out of here, but we have an amazing guest today, and it's very challenging. So we definitely appreciate Marvin for rocking with us. Shout out to Marvin. I definitely last question. Bear with us, Marvin. We got you. Here's a very interesting question because most of the conversation is dealing with the consumer or the homeowner and agents. How was your rapid fire answer? How was your relationship with investors of these short sales? And do we foresee more short sales coming where short sales were more of a term that investors were usually getting savvy about, and short sale, foreclosure. So are you working with a lot of investors that are purchasing these short sales? And do you foresee more short sales coming to the market as time goes on, considering the fact that the market is doing extremely well?
The answer is yes. There's going to be more distressed real estate that's going to come on the market. Yes, there's going to be inventory for investors. Yes, there's going to be inventory for residential home buyers. I like working with everybody. I just tell people, call me. Let's just figure out how to get this scenario done one way or the other. As long as the homeowner avoids foreclosure, that's all I care about.
Completely understand. And then John had you provide the toll-free number. Where else can people find you at? Drop your social media profiles. Where can people find you at after this particular episode?
They could find me on Instagram, Short Sale Savage. They could find. I actually have a free Facebook group. People can join if they want. I actually do live videos in that group. I don't do live videos anymore, other than in my Short Sales 101 group. It's Short Sales 101. It's on Facebook. You got to answer the questions to get in. If you just dial past it and just don't answer any of the questions, my admin will not let you in that group. But that group is great for real estate professionals that want to have more of an understanding of, distressed real estate.
Awesome. And definitely 150% the last question, being Jonathan.
I'll be back. Fuck it, I'm coming back.
I know. I know. It's so much gold.
I'm coming back when you want me to come back.
Me and John are always asking our guests, what's next for you? Where do you take the team from here over the next couple of years? Is there a bigger goal?
Huge, massive. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Okay.
It's funny you say that. So my goal for 2025 is to bring more awareness, everything in between, meaning short sales to sheriff sales. So you're gonna see something launch in 2025 that nobody's done. When I say nobody, it's literally short sales to sheriff sales and everything in between. I'm just going to drop it like that. I'm not going to say anything else. But anybody that knows me is going to see some wild shit happen in 2025. It's going to help people that are real estate professionals that are struggling to not walk away from distressed situations, for homeowners, funding situations, real estate agents that still want to get their real estate commissions, lenders who want to write loans, etc. I'm really excited. So it's short sales to sheriff sales, everything in between. Stay tuned. Remember,
you heard it here first.
It's not a no until you get a restraining order.
It's not a no until you get a restraining order.
That's right.
That's not bad. Did you have one more?
That's all.
Stay.
And referrals turn me on, man.
Referrals turn us on as real estate professionals. Forget what you thought. OnlyFans, only referrals.
That's it.
There we go. Listen, as always, we appreciate you tapping into the show.
Absolutely.
Coming in, considering the fact that at the time of recording, we're still in this kind of holiday mode kind of environment.
Yeah. If I hear one more person say, "Wow, it's the holidays," the fucking holidays are over.
I was working all day yesterday. Everyone was closed. I'm like, what?
Fuck that.
It's Wednesday. I mean, yesterday was Wednesday. Yesterday was Wednesday.
New Year's Day. Yeah. Everyone was closed.
Every time I was waking up, I didn't know what day it was.
It's cool.
But this is what you get when you're working with this particular squad. We work 24/7. We eat, live, breathe, sleep real estate. While that can be an amazing thing, there are some cons with it, considering the fact that we're always in demand.
Yep.
But again, this is the reason why we have the particular individuals that are dedicated to that particular practice for the benefit of the community and the consumers that are entrusting us with one of, if not the biggest financial decision that you've had to make in your entire life. And at that point, I can tell all my clients, if you're about to spend a couple $100,000s, you should be able to get that professional on the phone at whatever time
100%.
possible, as long as it fits within their particular schedule.
There is no schedule.
Just as long as they're not at the hospital.
24/7, baby.
24/7. If you better listen, if you're getting the IV, pick up the phone. He was on the IV getting
the phone.
Rejuvenating, and he's picking up the phone.
That's right.
Matt, as always, brother, we definitely have to bring on a part 2 because I know I had probably 5 more questions I had to ask. I know John definitely did.
I want to talk about the moratorium next time I come on. Let's talk about the moratorium, and let's talk about how it changed the face of foreclosures forever in 2024.
Which moratorium?
The foreclosure moratorium. Don't you remember the moratorium? What happened?
All right, stay tuned.
Wait, there's one now?
No.
You talking about COVID?
Yeah.
I was about to say, I thought you were talking about there was a new one now. Oh, it kicked the can further down the line, and we have no idea, and I've been waiting.
Save that for part 2.
Part 2 coming through, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, all good. Be sure to tap in this particular episode. As always, Austin, a.k.a. More Than an Agent, John, my Dominicano, Hermano, John does real estate, Matt Merenoff, the short sell savage, the individual that is truly here and dedicated to make sure that you have all of your options before you have to go down a route that you might not necessarily have to.
That's right.
This is the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast with one last shout out to Marvin, our producer, who's letting us stay in here for a little bit longer than what we're accustomed to. We appreciate it all. This is the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast in 2025. Signing off.